we are confident that we've done well. We've done well in appreciating how far we've come. I mean, when you talk about where Rwanda was 24 years ago, in 1994, people like to say we were at ground zero, and they say no, we were at minus 10 maybe, because you know, you go below when you're burying 1 million of your citizens that die in 100 days. So emotionally, you are destroyed as a nation. The soul of the nation is destroyed. It's not just burying people. You know, the aftermath is actually harder to deal with. The consequences of losing so many of your own, it's a challenge that you continue dealing with as you move forward. So that's one. But beyond the loss, the human loss, we lost the infrastructure as well. You know, people don't talk about the fact that the treasury of Rwanda was empty the day the genocide stopped. So on July 4th, 1994, we had not one franc in our treasury. So what do you do with that?
But given from where it was to where it is now, it's doing amazingly well in many of the indexes that are, you know, looked at by the World Bank and others in terms of, you know, for example, how easy it is to do business there. It's one of the best countries in the world for that, and it's rising all the time. How the anti-corruption index is very good in terms of how easy it is to do business there as well. So there's lots of good things about Rwanda, and I'm sure that it can only get better. But of course, like anything, it's always got to be very careful just to take things steadily and not lose sight of what it's there to achieve.
The government is very pro-business. In fact, I know we are second place of doing business in Africa. We've done, in terms of all the rankings globally, we've done extremely well. We have, Rwanda has been the most improved country in the history of doing business reports that come from the World Bank. The subject of entrepreneurship is a very important one, because what Rwanda has tried to do is to graduate job producers and not job seekers. And that's where entrepreneurship comes from.
It's a country that's heavily dependent on agriculture stage. It's at that stage. And if it's going to, and it's got an economy that seems to be growing quickly in time, which is quite a remarkable feat. I think to sustain that, it will need to make its agricultural sector more productive, but also sort of catapult itself into the current technological age that we're in, and that's where I think they can bring young thinking, familiarity with technology. I would hope that some of the projects are actually going to be in that area.
If students are introduced to entrepreneurship, they grow with that, and they develop within themselves the innovation that's needed for them to graduate, not expecting to be hired, but to create an economic product that not only could they gain from, but could employ others. So it's a very, I think it's an answer. Entrepreneurship is an answer to key issues that many of our countries face. Education should be more flexible in terms of giving opportunities to some of the young minds that we have to innovate and create employment, again, for themselves and others. So our policies have been very clear, and we want to see the private sector grow, and that will include entrepreneurship.
And this project introduced students to potential sources of funds, the Rwandan Development Bank, for example. A fantastic opportunity to get in front of an organisation that might support an organisation going forward. And then secondly, a challenge for entrepreneurs is finding sources of expertise. I mean, everyone can have a fantastic idea, but operationalising it often requires working with other people, bringing in other skills to actually make it happen.
It is a very multi-dimensional project, and it's sort of very much a pilot in 1 year. So the learning curve is quite important in a number of areas. I won't go into all of them at length, but just to signal how multi-dimensional it is. For the university is innovating a lot in sort of work-related experience for students as part of their degree. And they're very much pushing the envelope in terms of making that experience global. In terms of the students, actually there are lots of projects that help students to collaborate, but there aren't a lot that kind of take the pedagogic side of collaborating and learning from one another direct to the marketplace, which is what this project does, which is very challenging for the students and us as a staff team.
So there's probably 5 things that they would learn, I would say, on this project. The first is a basic understanding of what social enterprise is, and importantly that there's an alternative to commercial enterprise. Many students have never been introduced to this new type of enterprise which has a social purpose and where financial gain is secondary to the mission of the organisation. So that's the first. And second, they learn how to fund, organise and manage a social enterprise. They will learn how to network with people who understand social enterprise, so that could be good for connections in the future, for contacts should they wish to proceed. They'll develop skills that will enhance their ability to run a social enterprise.
And like all experimental things, it's you have to be very light on your feet and very flexible and willing to kind of, you have one structure, but if it's not working, you have to be ready to modify and adapt it. And that's what we've been doing this week. You know, sort of we try things with the students, and if that doesn't work for them, then we try something else. But it's really, you know, you could say the ideal, because we're taking this to market, is that maybe 2 or 3 projects will be really interesting, and the development bank here will want to support them in one way or another, or the partners in general will want to support them.
So this project addresses that challenge as well by bringing people together from all sorts of different backgrounds, some with great ideas, some with a very specific experience of doing certain things. Bringing those things together can create or help an organisation operationalise a business. You get this magic combination of our students learning a new subject in a new country, Rwandan students learning a new subject with new people from a new context. You bring that together, you mash it up, and you get fantastic new ideas and possibly some new businesses.
Working together in a boot camp, collaboration with different people from different parts of the world is something which they would not have experienced, many of them would not have experienced before. So I think they've learnt a lot through this process, and I know that our students have equally learnt a lot too.
Not a lot of countries produce silk in Africa, so as a continent as a whole, not a lot of countries do it, so we thought, why not go to that niche market and just see how we get on with it.
Our aim for this project, this social enterprise, was to create jobs. That's our main point, that's what we chose, unemployment. So when we were brainstorming with our team, they said that the best way to combat unemployment was to do a farming rural job, which everyone can do.
Our inspiration was kind of random for the project itself, like for our idea, because we got a couple of ideas that didn't work out well, because we were really struggling to come up with something good and something sustainable as well.
The project that's called Ikirunga Beauty was about creating a line of cosmetics that we're going to source locally from the geographical resources that are located in Rwanda. To be honest, it was a trip that we did. We went down to a lake that's called Gisenyi. That's a couple of hours drive away from the capital, and we saw this beautiful, unspoiled natural resources, and we thought this could really be it. different. We were thinking about coffee beans and how to recycle coffee waste. And then when we were sitting at the table, it was a little bit like a lightning. We thought of, wow, we went to this place, we saw this, we saw that. Why don't we try to invest in this? And we had some ups and downs in the whole thought process. So we weren't sure, then we were sure again, then we were like, this is not really our thing, how are we going to do it? And then at one point we were like, no, this is what we're going to go for, this is our idea. The fact that it's, let's say, so different and maybe harder to make it happen, it's what makes it beautiful, and that's what we're going to invest in. I think the basics of the project is solid. The idea is solid, and it can grow on it. So on the social, going back to the social side, definitely fighting unemployment, and it would definitely help boosting the service sector. So getting Rwanda's name out in the world would definitely help tourism as well.
Really good group.
We have really good people in our group.
I think that, from my perspective, I think that was the main point of our success.
Yeah.
Because we had a really good group, so we get on very well as well.
Everyone put in all their work, no one was slacking, and we all stayed awake late to finish most of our work. So like, they never gave up. They really didn't. Like when we didn't go with the safari idea, it was like we were really tired. We were coming up with ideas and they didn't moan once. They didn't say like, we go sleep and think about it tomorrow. They were like, just new idea, new idea, new idea. And I feel like you can see that in their country as well. Rwanda as a whole country, because they never gave up after the whole thing they went through. They didn't give up. They started building the country back up, and it's basically, you can see that in their personalities as well, because when we came up with the silk idea, we went straight on full throttle, did our research, and I guess that's why we're here, because we all worked together as a team, and we never did give up.
A strong relationship that we're building now between University of Westminster and University of Rwanda through this project, I'm proud to say. And so let's see what happens. I mean, it'd be great to see more cooperation in the future.